And welcome back to the Shore Sports Network, shoresportsnetwork.com. Kevin Williams catching up with Shane Panzini. Listen, I understand it's football and soccer season and basketball and wrestling are around the corner. Shane, though, is a baseball player, a very good one, a senior at Red Bank Catholic High School. Matt Manley has recounted some of his accomplishments in the past on shoresportsnetwork.com and certainly will this coming spring as well. But I wanted to catch up with Shane for a couple minutes, see what's going on as he gets set for what he hopes is a big senior year. And good to speak with you, Shane. By the way, a senior at Red Bank Catholic. He's sporting the RBC wear for this very smart move. I know your coach will like that. And so how are things going? Let's talk a little bit about, right now with first year education. Are you guys in a hybrid virtual learning? What are you doing right now?
Our school either has a choice. You can either go full-time in school or full-time virtual for the quarter. So I started off the school year in school, and then I had to go to Florida for a tournament. So the last 2 weeks I've been quarantining, and I'll go back and start next week.
How has the in-school have gone so far? So, for you guys.
Well, it's masks. Like, you can't take your mask off at all besides lunch. And when you do take them off at lunch, you have the divider in the middle of the table. But once you get used to it, it's not that bad. It's a lot better being in school than online.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's a very surreal situation. Certainly one you'll tell your kids about one day what you had to go through in 2020, and hopefully it doesn't extend too far into 2021. So I do want to walk back a little bit with you. Last year, as we got to February, March, your mentality is getting ready for your junior season with the Caseys on the diamond, and then comes the middle of March and we get shut down. And my guess is there was a period of time you were somewhat optimistic that, hey, maybe this thing will go through quick and we'll have a baseball season. And yet at some point you realized there was going to be nothing, right?
Yeah. So it initially started with a school near us shut down for 2 weeks, and our coach had a meeting for us in the locker room on that Friday. And we all went in. He goes, all right, school season, everything's postponed 2 weeks. And we took all of our stuff with us home. And then we were like, all right, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Nice little vacation, like nothing much. And, we got the call a few days later that we're not going back to school. And it was tough.
What was it like for you when the realization was there would be no baseball season for you and your RBC teammates?
At first I was pretty upset, but then I realized I felt worse for the seniors last year than me because we still got another go this year, hopefully. And but I felt bad for those guys because they were working all off season, and it was tough.
Now, even though you weren't playing, your stock as a prospect has continued to rise. Tell us a little bit about your experiences this summer. I know you went to a couple of highly regarded showcases. What was that like for you? Did you come out of those feeling a little even more confident in your ability that you could play with the best players in America?
Yeah, it started. Let's see, I went down to Alabama at the beginning of the summer, and it was really the first time we've been playing games, and everyone was pretty nervous, and no one was really hit in game or pitched in game, and that was the first time it was going to happen, so no one really knew it was going to happen. And I went down there and I got 2 innings because it was a showcase at Perfect Game National, and I did way better than I thought I would, and I just took that as a platform and kept going up the rest of the summer. But I was really happy with what I did there and kind of set the tone for the rest of the summer.
And the follow-up to that was you go to Oklahoma City in early September for the highly regarded Perfect Game All-American Classic. Tell me about that experience.
That's by far the best baseball experience I think I will ever have. It was.
Hey, we hope it's not the best you ever have.
Yeah. But up until this point, I think it was that and Cooperstown are the best too. But I flew out there it's supposed every other year it's in San Diego, but this year obviously there were some things messed up, so COVID moved it to Oklahoma City, and it was a AAA stadium instead of the Padres stadium. But we got there and it was unreal. I mean, we had a roommate to share a room with for the whole weekend. I think it was 4 days. we walked in the room. The beds are just filled with gear. They bust us everywhere. They fed us. I don't think I saw my parents one time the whole 4 days. And when I did, they had to show a security guard tag to get by me to go to the field. But it was really cool, like getting bussed to the fields, walking under the stadiums, and the second you walk out of the dugout, you get like grown men asking for your autographs, and it was really cool.
And of course, you did get the pitch there, and I think they had you up to 95 on the radar gun. Did that surprise you a little bit?
Uh, I mean, I don't want to say I expected it, but that's where I've been the whole summer. And
Okay.
I got up to 96 or 96 a few times, but I was happy with it because my off speed was pretty good that day too.
All right. So now that was in September. Now take us from early September to here we are as we start the month of November.
So that was my last big event of the summer, and now, summer, beginning of the fall. And the only other thing I've really done the fall out of the state is I went to Fort Myers about 2 weeks ago. Our Niners team didn't get a bid for the tournament, so me and a few guys from our team went down with Team Georgia, and I pitched because that was my last time of the year pitching. I knew I had to let it all out, and I think I like to say it was a Blake Snell situation like it was the other day because I went 5 innings. I got the first out of the 5th. I went 4 innings, got the first out of the 5th, walked the next batter, got pulled. We were up 1-0, and we lost 2-1. So it wasn't the World Series, but it was bad.
Did they catch you mouthing bad things about the manager when you walked off the mound?
No, definitely. My dad would probably fly down and take me off the field.
Listen, not probably, would. You and I both know that. And your mother wouldn't be far behind. So let's be honest there. Let me kind of fast forward to that, because one of the things I was going to sort of finish up with was sort of the state of baseball today. So let me ask you, I'm going to assume you're a baseball fan. I don't know what team. Who do you root for? Do you have a team?
The Mets.
That's okay. Hey, you and I are on the same page. I didn't even know that. Okay, we're long suffering. I'm a lot older than you. I hope before you get to my age, you get to see a World Series, but it may happen. So don't feel bad about being a Mets fan. But okay, so you're watching the Dodgers and the Rays, I'm sure. You're a baseball fan. Your reaction to what's happened with the state of pitching. And I know it's the only thing you've really grown up with. I guarantee your dad would tell you it was different in his day and certainly in my day. But, the pitch count has become such a huge thing. Tampa Bay was the team that kind of originated the use of the starter, and you'll see games in which they'll have 7 pitchers go 9 innings. Right now, your mentality is a starting pitcher. How do you feel about all that?
Well, I learned in high school, it really came down to this: just get ahead and stay ahead. Because if you fall behind, that runs your pitch count up real quick. Even if you get a guy in a full count, end up getting him out, that's a win for the batter. Because you're going six pitch at bats, a good at bat. You want to chase the pitcher early. My goal in high school and travel, really every time I pitch, is just to get ahead and stay ahead and put him away early.
All right, so you're not afraid to throw a first pitch fastball?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And your fastball clearly at this point, I'm going to assume, is your best pitch, but I understand you have pretty good secondary pitch too. Your changeup is probably your best.
Yeah, it was weird. I always thought I have a curveball and the slider, and I thought those were my go-to next. And then I went down to Fort Myers like 2 weeks ago, and I started throwing the changeup in the game, and I don't know where it came from, but it was just dropping away from lefties, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I kept throwing the thing, and I probably threw it like 25 times, and I don't think they made hard contact on one of them.
Now, I didn't mention, and I should have, you are a right-hander, 6'2", 6'3". Understand you're working on the weights a little bit. You're trying to get your weight up or just get overall strength?
I'd like to I don't mind the weight right now, but I'm trying to, I could obviously add more muscle, and that's really the goal.
Okay, so now you have verbally committed already to the University of Virginia. Tell me about that process. When did you make that call, and what made you decide to do it when you did?
The last day of my shore conference tournament championship, I pitched that game, and then I was talking to the coaches before that, and then they told me to go down and visit. But at the time, the NCAA rules were weird sometimes. They weren't allowed to be there. So we were on the FaceTime call with them the whole time. We were walking down the campus, and they just happened to have a player at the field. So he brought us around, and it was convenient because he was there. And I mean, my parents said growing up, it said use sports to get you in the best schools possible for academics. And we went down there. I fell in love with it. The baseball program's great, and the academics just are awesome.
What were there other schools you were seriously considering, or was Virginia the one?
I was talking to a few schools, but once I went down there and I saw the whole setup, I was like, I'm all in. I love this place.
What a beautiful, beautiful campus. So much history there. Now, there's a chance you don't make it to campus. So, I mean, I don't want to throw any added pressure on you, and I'm not looking to do that. But obviously, baseball, unlike a lot of other sports, they hold an amateur draft in which after your senior year, you can sign with a major league team. So I'm going to guess, and you tell me if I'm wrong, are you having any conversations, not with teams, but are your parents involved in maybe talking to people to kind of get a thought of where things might go for you?
Right now, I think this summer definitely helped me out a lot. We have a general idea. I've always wanted to play college, but the opportunity presents itself. It would be awesome. It's a lifelong dream to play in the pros. But anything can happen. The most important part of this whole year is the spring season. That's why I hope we have one.
Right.
Because that would be the most important part of adding to your draft stock, and whatever happens, I'll be happy with.
I assume the draft, and I know the whole baseball season was so disjointed, but it would still be in June, right? Is that when it's scheduled for, the amateur draft?
They moved it back to July 13th now.
Okay. So there'll be even more time. You don't have to share it, and I don't expect you to, but have you sort of set, is there like a round in which you've got drafted in a certain round, or is it just one of those things that your whole family, you're just going to wait and deal with it when it happens?
When it gets to that point, I don't think it really would matter in the round. It's more about the signing bonus.
Right.
Because there are guys who sign in the 5th round, who make more money than the guys who sign earlier for overslot. It's complicated.
Right, it is. But I know you're a good student, and I know, knowing your father, who I've known since he was your age, education is a really important thing to your family.
Yeah, like I said, my parents always stress it. They both played sports at Ivy League, and they just, ever since we were little, they've been on top of us about our grades, which I'm thankful for, though, now. When I was little, I was getting annoyed by it, but now I'm thankful for it.
Who's the better athlete in the family, your mom or dad?
It depends who you ask, but my dad will say he's the only all-state player in the house, so he thinks that, yeah, but there's always competition going on.
Yeah. Your dad was a heck of a football player at Toms River South and the University of Pennsylvania. I followed him very closely in high school. And of course, your brothers, you come from a really athletic family, which your dad, when we did a piece on you guys back in the spring, your dad talked about the ping pong games down in the basement. Are they still going on?
Now that Blaze is at college, Jimmy's in law school, but he's in the basement because it's virtual. And Gio, my little brother, really isn't that good. So, and me and Jimmy, when we play, sometimes we butt heads. So we kind of just stopped right now because too many fights and too many broken things in the basement.
Now, Blaze is also a pitcher. He's at Seton Hall, right?
Yeah, he's a junior this year.
Okay. Obviously hoping very much, I'm sure he is, that there is a season, because he missed out on his season as well last year.
Yeah, no, he did. They definitely want one.
Yeah. Well, it's fun catching up with you. Clearly, you'll be a player that both Matt Manley and I will be following throughout. I really hope you guys get to play this spring, even if it's an abbreviated season like they're doing with some of the other sports right now. I know it'll be your last chance to be with your high school teammates, and those are your buddies, and you want to go out on the field with them, right?
Absolutely. I didn't get to, well, our team played in the Last Dance, but personally, I didn't get to play, and I kind of missed out on it. But if I missed out on this year, it would be awful.
All right, so here's what I'm rooting for, Shane. I hope you have, good health, good season, whether you go to college, but I'm looking forward to the day when your dad hooks me up with a ticket and we go to Citi Field and watch you pitch for the Mets. How about that?
I'm all in. That'd be awesome.
Shane Panzini from Red Bank Catholic High School, a senior pitcher and a prospect that is very highly regarded, not just in the Shore and the state, but throughout the United States, as one of the top scholastic baseball players. It was fun talking to you. Wish you all good health and all the best of things. We'll do this again down the road.
Thank you so much for having me.